right, so today's lesson we're going to do APA. So I will not go into how are you doing and what are your grades. Oh yeah, and by the way, whenever I record, you cannot announce to everybody, my grades are blank, blank, blank. Did you know that I got a blankety blank grade of, that's all got to do with privacy. But if I do a one-on-one and I say I'm not recording this, then you can talk about your grades because I'm not. But this time somebody asked, but I'm not able to come, so can you record it for me? And because I got a request like that, so I'm recording this one for that student because she wants to know about APA. Because she wants to know about APA. So here we go, and we're going to go into the wonderful world of APA. So I will see if I can get into one of my. Okay, I'll go into this one. And you get to see a little bit of my book. Yeah. So I will go into this. And there we go. I don't use my whiteboard anymore for obvious reasons. So anyway, can you all see a white blank white? Yes. All right.
Yes.
So APA. So you tell me, what does APA stand for?
I have no idea.
Okay. American Psychological Association. And so APA is used in social sciences and business. Social sciences and business. And so nursing is considered social sciences, and therefore you use American Psychological Association, APA. And so when you use APA, we use APA to give the researcher credit for her research. And then we use APA whenever we have numerical data, in other words, any kind of number, whether it be percentages, dollar signs, amounts, population amounts, anything to do with numbers, we always cite the source. Historical data, such as in 1865, the Civil War ended. According to whom? Did you just make it up off the top of your head? So we always cite the source. And then medical data. Any kind of, the symptoms of COVID-19 are fever, chills, and got to stay in bed. So that's an example of medical data. Scientific, anything on cdc.org is considered scientific data. And so you would say that the best treatment for obesity is blah, 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 blah. Or the medical name for this illness is blah, 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 blah. So that is any kind of scientific data. Technical data. ChatGPT 3.5 is now going to be replaced by ChatGPT 4.0, which is going to be the latest AI, large language model, blah, blah, blah. So that's technical data. And then unknown knowledge. That means anything that is not common knowledge, which for most students, that's a lot. So common knowledge would be something like December 25th is Christmas Day. You don't have to cite that source because everybody knows that. And if I was in China, I would say that in February, everybody celebrates the Chinese New Year. That's like saying in America on December 31st, it's the last day of the year. So depending on your culture, that's what common knowledge is. If you're not sure what is common knowledge or if everybody knows it, cite the source. And we also cite the source, and then so we always cite the source even if we doubt, like if we're not sure, if it is common or uncommon knowledge. And I think that knowledge. I think that APA is very, very easy to use. Once you learn one kind of, APA for notation, then you know them all. Well, they're all very similar. Okay, they're all very similar. So you've got two kinds of quotes. You've got the direct quote. Now, in a direct quote, that's when you cite the source word per word. And we tend to use direct quotes when we use numerical data. For instance, if I say 50% of Americans are obese, anything with numbers, you should cite the source verbatim. Then you would need quotation marks, author name, date, and page number. And so anything with numbers should be a direct quote. And then when you have a direct quote, you put quotation marks. 50% of Americans are overweight. And then you put in the quotation marks, and then you put in the name of the author, then the date.
Are you typing something? Because I can't see if you are.
Can you? Is it too small?
No,
I can.
no, we can't
It's
see.
just a white plain page with the words that say Revolution in your virtual
Well,
class.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
can you see it now?
No.
No, because I wanted to see actually what you were writing out for the
Oh, okay. So what exactly are you seeing?
just becoming vibrant online communities, how the CO
Oh, you only
program.
see that. You don't see the. Oh, okay. So I hold on. Let me get back to. That's not it. Okay, that's not it. All right. So I guess then I'm just going to say it. I won't type it out. All right. So APA stands for American Psychological Association. And the APA it's used for social sciences and business. And when you use APA, we use it for numerical data, any kind of numbers, historical data, scientific data, technical data, historical data, as well as and any kind of uncommon knowledge. Then you have two kinds of quotations. You have a direct quote where you talk about it verbatim. Anything with numbers, you have to have a direct quote. So that way you give credit to the researcher. How do we do a direct quote? We have quotation marks, and then we have, for instance, 50% of Americans are obese. So that would be an example of a direct quote. Then you have the author's name, the author's last name, like Smith, then the date, 2022, and page 22. So that would be the in-text citation. So when I give a Smith, when you write down Smith 2022, page 22, that's known as an in-text citation. And the in-text citation goes inside the body of your body paragraph. You don't need to write out your web address. You don't need to write out the article name. A lot of students make that mistake. And
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Like, I wouldn't have to write down the title of the book, just the author's last name, the
date,
year, the date.
And the date is the year. Yeah, we put all the rest of the stuff in the reference citation, which is at the end of the paper. We haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, gotcha.
We're still in the body paragraph, so you're going way ahead. So that's all. So why do we have an in-text citation? An in-text citation then tells the reader where you got that particular information from. In other words, you got that 50% of American, obese fact from an article by the name some guy by the name of Smith, John Smith, in the year 2022 on page 22. That way, if you wanted to look it up, you could look it up, and if you wanted to learn more for your research paper, you could. Now, that's the first kind of direct quote. That's the first kind of quotation. There's only two kinds. And then the second kind is paraphrase quote. So let's say the original quote is 50% of Americans are obese. Then I would say in my paraphrase quote, it is well known that half of Americans, or more than half of Americans, do not eat enough, eat too much, weigh too much, and don't exercise enough. In other words, I just rephrased what that half of Americans are obese. That's known as a paraphrase quote. When you summarize the direct quote, that's known as a paraphrase quote. And even if you paraphrase it, put it in your own words, you still have to cite the source. Therefore, you don't need quotation marks anymore. You just simply, write your sentences, and then you say that Smith 2022. That's it, in parentheses. and you write this right after you say, inside the middle of your paragraph. You should have only one in-text citation per paragraph. And then I teach students pie structure. I'm pretty sure I taught this last week. Didn't I? No? Okay. Must have been the other school. Anyway, and so P stands for the main point from the thesis statement. So P stands for your topic sentence. I stands for your in-text citation. E stands for explanation of that in-text citation in 5 sentences. That will be how your entire body paragraph will be formulated. So let's have an example. So if I say that my thesis statement is smoking causes lung cancer, throat cancer, stomach cancer. And then one of my body paragraphs will be smoking causes lung cancer. Then another topic sentence will be smoking causes stomach cancer. And then another topic sentence will be smoking causes whatever the third cancer is. I forget what it is. Then you're going to write the point from the thesis statement, smoking causes lung cancer. Then you have your I for in-text citation. 50% of Americans who smoke die early of lung cancer by the age of, very young. And then you have quotation marks, then you have the author's name, the date, and then the page number. Then you write E stands for explanation. Then you would write 5 sentences saying, if Myrtle had not started smoking at the young age of 14, she would still be alive today to see her grandchildren and see her son get married. Unfortunately for Myrtle, because she started smoking so early in life, now she lies at the tender age of 45 or 50, and she's looks like she's 95, and she's dying. And she's telling her grandchildren and her teenagers, please don't start smoking. She's even going to start a commercial to that effect, so on and so. In other words, you're going on and on and on about 5 sentences about why it's important not to smoke to prevent lung cancer. And then that would be your entire body paragraph should be 5 to 7 sentences. So that's what an in-text citation is. You have 2 kinds of in-text citations, the direct quote and the paraphrase quote. Now we're moving on to the rest of the quote that Star alluded to. So after we write our 3 body paragraphs with pie structure, now we go into our reference citation. There are many, and the reference citation is at the very end of your paper after the last page. And so after the last page, you're going to write, for a web source, you're going to write the last name of the author first, like Smith. Then you write the first name, like John. So Smith, John, and then his initial, J. Smith, John, J. Then you put a period. Then you put parentheses, 2025, or no, sorry, we haven't gotten there yet, 2024. And then you put that in parentheses, then a period. Then you have your article name, Obesity in America, serious problem. And then you italicize that. Next, you write the journal name or website name. So if you got it from a journal, it would be American Medical Journal. Or if you got it from a website, it would be Centers for Disease Control.org. Now, if you got it from a journal, I'll have to teach that's something different. I will go over that in a second. So first you have your and then you have the date you retrieved the website. So you would say retrieved today's date from web address. That's it. That's the entire reference citation for a website reference. And now for a book, it's slightly different. I'll go over that also in a second. And so if I get my source from a website, then the article name is italicized. However, if I get it from a journal, if I get my source from a journal, you leave the article name alone and you italicize the journal's name. That's the only difference. Do you understand? Or do I need to write that out? I'll try to use the whiteboard to see if that works. Sometimes the whiteboard works and sometimes the whiteboard doesn't. And let me try to share this. Sometimes this works. And I don't know what the heck. It's still doing that. And let's see. Can you see the whiteboard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So if I have something like Smith, John, J, 2022, obesity in America, Centers for Disease Control.
Can you see it, Cheryl?
I can.
Okay, Centers for Disease
Okay, I see
Control.
organize and facilitate the whiteboard. Is all I see. It's covering that area she's typing in.
It's on the bottom of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let me make my thing bigger. I think that's what it
Retrieved
is.
today's date, so retrieved July 24th, 2024. Oh wow, it's a 24. Okay, from www.cdc, you should have the HTTP. HTTP, can you see can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
cdc.org. So if you get So if you get it from the website, you italicize this. Although I don't know if I can italicize in this. Let's see. Does it italicize? Look at that. No, I can underline it. I can do this, and I don't think I can italicize it in this. Oh well, this is so. Does that look better? Bigger?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of it.
Yeah, I can't italicize.
Yeah, that's fine. It's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking a picture.
Okay. So then, if I have here John J. 2020 obesity in America. Where did it go? In America, and then if you say American Medical Journal. So if you got it from a journal, you would italicize this. I would italicize it for you, but this stupid thing doesn't allow me to do it. It allows me. It allows me to.
You're doing the journal name.
Yeah, it allows me to do a different color. I don't know, font size, switch type. I don't even know what that means. Switch type. I'll have to experiment. Anyway, so if you got your source from the website, or from a book, you italicize the article title. If you got your source from a medical journal, you italicize the medical journal. Okay?
Right.
And that's it. And then you would have the same thing, retrieved, and then you would have the volume 2, edition 5, or volume, sorry, it's edition 5, volume whatever 2, page 22 to 42, or something like that. You don't have page numbers for your notice how when you use a website you end up with a web address, but if you use something like a book or a journal, you have this page number. But if you get a journal from the website, then it becomes, that's a little different. Let me see. That's the only thing, is I can't italicize these things. I don't know why. You should go and tell Zoom they need to. You would think with something like Zoom. See, okay, and then you go like this. I almost have it. Smith. All right. So if the journal is on a website, then you could have retrieved. What's today's date? July 24th, 2024, from web address. And the web address, and also if you're using the library, you're going to see a button, cite this source. Click the button and it will cite it for you. Okay, a lot of research articles will have that button and will cite it for you, the reference citation. All right, and then of course your direct quote is this something this, and then Smith 2022, page 22, and then paraphrase quote. No, you just say whatever it is, and then you would have Smith 2022. No quotation marks. Now you got to make sure that your quote is no more than 3 lines. Okay? Because if it's more than 3 lines, then you have to have a block quotation. Okay, no more than 3 lines, or that's like 2 or 3 sentences. And so then if it's more than 3 lines, then you have a block quotation. Okay, you're going to see this a lot in scientific articles, especially if they have to be so long-winded. And so when you do your paragraph, let's say I write a paragraph and I'm not going to get to the block quotation just yet. So I'm writing a paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Smoking causes lung cancer, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, so this is where you indent for your paragraph. Now, when you indent for your block quotation, it's like this and 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 10 spaces from the front. When you indent for your paragraph, it's 5 spaces. When you indent for a block quotation, it's 10 spaces. So that'll make it look right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. And so you start your block quotation here, and it's single spaced. While the rest of your paragraph is going to be double spaced, the block quotations tend to be single spaced, and it's 5 spaces into your paragraph. Does that make sense? And then the rest of your paragraph will be back to, and that's why Myrtle passed away, or whatever. And so here it's single spaced, and then the rest of the paragraph will be double spaced. Therefore, never start smoking. I'm not going to write out the whole thing, but anyway, you get the idea. And so that's only if, but I always try to tell students not to use too many block quotations in their papers because it interrupts the flow of their essay. Instead, I prefer that they use something like this. So here, if I were to say, according to Dr. Smith, and then you could write 2022, and then you would write this, 50%, 50, this is known as a signal phrase, percent, I'll write that down, of Americans are obese. And then you would write the page number, page 22. Or you could say Dr. Smith states that 50% of Americans are obese. By the way, that 50% should be capitalized. I was in a rush. There we go. It didn't even look right. 50% of Americans are obese. And then you could put in 2022, page 22. In other words, there are many different ways of doing this. And if you want to not keep saying states, or says, then you could you would Google signal phrase verbs. And then you would get a whole bunch of verbs, and states, says, agrees, acknowledges. Those are just a few verbs. Or disagrees with. Dr. Smith disagrees and thinks that, blah, 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 blah. So you got many different ways instead of saying Dr. Smith states. You'll notice that in my book, I probably say too much. Dr. So-and-so states. Dr. So-and-so states. Then later I have to go through my entire paper and try to replace all those nouns, all those verbs with different action verbs. So it doesn't look so, so boring. Do you understand? Is this good so far?
Yes.
So all of this is inside your body. So that's why in-text citations are inside the body of your paper, while reference citations are at the end of your paper. And then abstracts, okay, some of you this is not required for this class, but you're going to learn a lot about abstracts. What is an abstract? This comes before the first page, okay? So an abstract comes before the first page. And then what the abstract does is it's a summary of the article. That's what you read in Google Scholar. Is somebody's abstract. Like when I wrote my master's, I remember I wrote the entire paper first. We did our research, we did our experiment, and we had our results, and then we had our conclusion. It took a year for me to write that whole thing, and then the abstract is the very last thing you do right before you hand in your paper to the UCLA library. That's the deadline. Then you graduate after that. And so the abstract was the hardest. The last 2 weeks of UCLA, I remember that was what I spent on the abstract. And an abstract is about two or three paragraphs long. Okay, two or three paragraphs long. And then for your title page, you could just look that up. And so what I suggest that you do is you Google Diana Hacker sample APA paper. Google those exact words, and then you can download your own sample APA paper, and then you can see what a reference citation looks like, what in-text citations look like inside an actual paper. Okay, so now that you understand how all of this works, then when you look at an APA paper, you'll go, oh, I see. So that an in-text citation simply tells the reader, where did you get that information from? And then the in-text citation only gives us, and your reference citations have to match your in-text citation. So let's say, I don't know if I can go up on this. No, I can only do this. Oh, okay. So let's say that my in-text citation is Dr. Smith. Then my reference citation should also be Smith. So I'll write it bigger. I don't know if I can do this. I did that, and let's see if I could do this. No, that doesn't work. There we go. Oh, I can make an arrow. I didn't know that. Isn't that cute? Anyway, so if I say that 50% of Americans are obese, and I have Smith. This is almost done. Page 22. Then your reference citation should be Smith, Patrick, 2022, obesity in America, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to write the whole thing. Then let's say I have some other quotation that says most Americans eat too much junk food. Americans, it's true though, eat too much junk food. That's considered, believe it or not, that's considered a medical fact. And then you have Jones, 2022 or whatever. And then down here, it should match. You should have Jones, John, 2000. That's too old. 2021. And then, well, let me think. Junk food in America? I'm just making it up off the top of my head. Whatever. Anyway, so basically your references, and then you should write in references. Anyway, so basically your references should match your in-text citation. That was my point, is that if you have Smith, Jones as your reference citations inside the body of your paper, it should match the Smith and Jones and all. What's wrong with my references besides the fact that I didn't finish it? But just from what I wrote alone, there's a mistake. What's the mistake? It's a very common mistake. Besides, it's incomplete. I didn't write in the let's write cdc.org, and then I write Centers for Disease Control, retrieved July 24th, 2024 from www.cdc.org. And then just for the sake of not having to spend a lot of time writing it, I will put this in here. All right, still a mistake. What's the mistake? Just so you know. Go ahead. Yeah, what's the mistake?
Patrick?
No.
No.
It's the order in which they're in. J goes before S. So you got to put it in alphabetical order. So you got to put it like this. Yeah. And also you got to put it in left hanging indent, which I can't do on this either. I don't think
I was going to ask you what do they go in order of the citation. So that's it. They go in alphabetical order.
They go in alphabetical order, and also for only your reference page, you need to have left hanging indent. That means that it's the opposite of your paragraph. Oh, I have it in my book. Let me see if I can get to my book. That's kind of like cheating, but oh well. Book 3, and that would so obviously this is somewhere in the middle of my book, and if I go to the very end somewhere, let's go up. Oh my goodness, this will go up a lot. If I have to go all the way up, because I'm in my appendices. Oh, there we go. All right, we just went past. Didn't we just go past the? Yeah, there we go. And so this is left hanging. Can you see it? No, you can't see it. Oh, okay. So I will try to, let's see if I do this. I wonder if it will show up on the whiteboard. Let's see if I can find where I am. Yeah. So let me try to put this. Oh, it didn't. It didn't work. All right. So I will try to just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There should be a journal here. And I should go, yeah, it didn't work. 1, 2, well, anyway, basically what it is that this second line is indented 5 spaces. So I have a lot of, here, let me try doing it this way. No, it doesn't work on that. Well, anyway, so that's why you gotta go look it up on Diana Hacker. When you Google Diana Hacker APA paper, and then you will see for yourself, okay, that's it. See, it's that simple for APA. Also, if you Google Diana Hacker paper, APA paper, then you will see what a left hanging indent looks like. Basically, the first line is, that's okay, but you indent the second line 5 spaces. It's the opposite of a paragraph, where in a paragraph you indent the first line. Yes, it's the opposite of a paragraph. But as soon as you look at Diana Hacker's last page references, oh, that's what a left hanging indent is. Then when you go to Microsoft Word, you're going to go to Home, then you're going to go to Paragraphs, then you're going to go to left and hanging indent, and then you press. That's a different video. So I can make a video about, or go to YouTube, search how to make a left hanging indent in Microsoft Word. There's 1,000 videos on that. I guarantee it because I've seen it. I remember one time when I was writing this book, I couldn't remember how to do my left hanging indent, so I went to YouTube and I go, oh yeah, that's how you do it. It took like 2 minutes for me to watch it and remember it, and then that's how I did it for my book. So obviously you can't see the book, but that's okay. And so what else was I going to say? So that even when you write a book, at the very end of my book, I wrote all my references.